Hello everyone. A week before my wedding, I decided to become the hero of my own story. Not by wearing a sparkling tiara and a pristine white wedding dress, but by standing on a new starting line on my own 2 feet. Everyone told me I was the happiest bride-to-be in the world. My social media was a gallery of glamorous wedding photos and endless congratulatory messages. A dazzling diamond ring, a supposed promise of a lifetime shone on my finger. On the surface, my life looked like a page torn from a perfect fairy tale. But the princess in this story, unbeknownst to anyone, was being consumed by a shadow of anxiety every single night. When I first met him, Daniel, I was convinced it was destiny. It didn't take long for me to fall for his kindness and his sense of humor. We loved each other passionately, and getting married felt like the most natural next step. But as we stepped from the dream of love into the reality of wedding planning, the image of the man I loved started to blur. Whenever we discussed the interior design for our new home, he'd always take a step back, saying, "Sophia, you decide. I like whatever you like." At first, I took it as him being considerate. But soon, his indifference started to feel like a giant, invisible wall between us. It felt less like we were painting our future together, and more like I was sketching alone on a vast, empty canvas. Conflicts with his family made that wall even more solid. My future mother-in-law would subtly hint that she disapproved of my career, pushing outdated values that a woman's place is in the home after marriage. And every single time, instead of standing with me, Daniel would just try to smooth things over, saying, "My mom's just like that. Please try to understand her." I felt myself becoming more and more isolated. Drowning under the weight of countless decisions and a whirlwind of emotions, I became a lonely island with nowhere to turn. Every night, my heart would pound in my chest. The same question would echo in my mind. Is this marriage really the right thing to do? Then one late night, just 10 days before the wedding, the decisive moment arrived. Daniel was asleep on the sofa, and the screen of his phone lying beside him suddenly lit up. A message from a familiar name appeared. It was his ex-girlfriend. My heart felt like it plummeted through the floor. After an endless internal battle between reason and instinct, I opened Pandora's box. What I found went far beyond what I could have imagined. It wasn't just a casual, "How are you?" Daniel was confiding in her, telling her how overwhelming the wedding preparations were, and that sometimes he just wanted to drop everything and run away. Honestly, one message read, "I don't know if I'm doing the right thing. I feel bad for Sophia, but sometimes I feel so suffocated." The moment I read that sentence, something solid inside me shattered. The true nature of the anxiety that had tormented me for months was suddenly crystal clear. Its indifference wasn't consideration, it was a burden. His avoidance wasn't support, it was escape. His silence wasn't agreement. He wasn't ready to build a future with me at all. I cried silently all night, right there beside his sleeping form. My tears weren't just for the betrayal or the sadness. These were tears of pity for myself, for how deeply I had been deceiving myself. And as the first light of dawn started to break, I made a decision. I had to end this false fairy tale with my own 2 hands. The next morning, I woke Daniel up and placed his phone in front of him. He looked visibly flustered, but then his shoulders slumped, and he bowed his head as if he was resigned to it all. After a long, heavy silence, with no excuses and no real apology, the words he finally managed to say sealed my decision. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "It's not that I don't love you, but I just wasn't confident." In that moment, I knew. His love wasn't strong enough to take responsibility for me, for our life together. I took the ring off my finger and placed it on the table between us. "Let's stop here," I said, my voice surprisingly calm and resolute. "Let's call off this wedding." The week that followed was the most brutal storm of my life. My parents were devastated, their voices filled with shame. How can we show our faces to anyone? My friends looked at me with pity, some subtly blaming me for a hasty decision. The cancellation fees for the venue, the honeymoon, and everything else were enormous. They didn't just empty my bank account, they emptied my heart. It felt like the entire world was pointing fingers at me. In the middle of this hell I had seemingly created, I spent night after night wide awake, second-guessing myself. Maybe if I had just endured it a little longer, pretended I didn't know, I could have taken the easier path. I crumbled and wavered more times than I can count. But then, where the storm had passed, a tiny green sprout began to emerge. I cleared out the empty marital home and found my own small apartment. For the first time in a long time, I had space to focus entirely on myself. Instead of wallowing in sadness, I poured all my energy into the things I'd been putting off. I worked late on company projects, and on weekends, I took solo trips to places I'd never been. I started sweating it out at the gym, devouring good books, and having deep, inging foreign conversations with people who genuinely cared for me. Slowly but surely, I was reclaiming myself. I was learning how to live as Sophia again, not as someone's fiancé or daughter-in-law. An independent life was sometimes lonely, yes, but it was also incredibly free. Most importantly, I was proud of myself. A year passed just like that. I'd become a much stronger, more mature person. Then one day, I received a message. It was from Daniel. It was long and detailed, filled with regret, apologies, and a desire to start over. The old me might have wavered, but my heart was surprisingly calm. I realized that I held no resentment, no lingering attachment to him anymore. I simply sent a short reply, "That's in the past. I hope you find happiness where you are." In that moment, I finally knew, with absolute certainty, the decision I made a year ago, a week before my wedding, hadn't ruined my life. It was the bravest, wisest choice I ever made. It saved me. Instead of sacrificing my own soul for the sake of societal expectations and what others might think, I chose the painful path of protecting myself. And because of that choice, the person I am today is able to exist. Friends, there are times in life when you might want to give up and run away. You might doubt if the path you're on is the right one, and you might be engulfed by a loneliness that feels like the whole world has turned its back on you. But please, remember this. At the end of the darkest tunnel, there is always light. And sometimes, the courage to stop, the courage to turn back, can be a far greater choice than blindly pushing forward. My broken engagement was not a failure. It was the first step toward true happiness, toward living as my complete self. Now, instead of a glamorous dress, I wear comfortable clothes. I quietly walk the path my heart leads me down, not one that someone else has set for me. And I am more peaceful and happier than ever before. If a moment ever comes in your life when you need to make a courageous choice, don't hesitate. Listen to the voice your heart is sending you, because that choice will be the only path that makes you truly you. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing to the channel for more content. Take care of yourselves.